What is up, guys? It is your boy Royal Mech, and I have another deck list for you for set 5. This one is honestly, I would say, the set close. It's really close to being one of the best decks in the format. And if that doesn't trigger enough, yeah, the thumbnail should have. So this is going to be my Rezael Vita deck list. So to start, just any generic starter because it gives us the draw if we go second. Next up is Tranquilla. For those of you who don't know what Tranquilla does, it has the effect when written over, reveal three cards of different grades from your hand. If you do, then look at the top 5, call one grade 1 from among them to the rearguard circle. If you found no targets, you can call this from Soul. Really good for rush power, really good to searching the rest of our pool. Next up, a Sincere. He's also a really good unit for the right line. When wrote on by Rezael, you get to search your drop for a grade 2 or lower unit, call it to rearguard. So really good in recycling key pieces such as your dogs and your Nilberis. Last but not least, we do run Rezael as part of the ride deck because Vita is considered a Rezael. Persona Ride does go off. For those who don't know, Rezael has 2 skills. The first one is when this unit attacks, counterblast 1. Then for every card in your damage zone, you can call up to 2 units that equal the grade of that. So if you have 1 card, you can call a grade 0 and a grade 2. If you have 1, you can call a grade 0 to grade 1. If you have 2, you can still do grade 0, grade 1, or just a grade 2. 3, you can go 0 and a 3, 2 and a 1, or still 0 and a 1. It all depends on what you got in your drop. It's really good, really useful. Greatly appreciate it. Just keeps you spamming. And so as you can see, we use the drop a lot as our second hand, which is good. Then it has the Divine skill. You take all the crits you Soul Blast 1. Take all the crits from your drop, put it into your deck, shuffle. Then your Vanguard gains Drive +1. And then at the 6 damage or greater, if you reveal any trigger outside of a heal, you heal. Really good Divine skill. That Miracle skill is just really good in staying a long time in the game. You don't, depending on the state of the game, you don't want to use it too early, but you don't also want to use it too late. It just comes to time and practice, right? On to the grade 3s. To continue on, we do run the complete 4 playset. So we do run the additional 3. Next up, we do run 4 copies of Vita. So Vita has the skill. This unit is considered as the Faded One Rezael during your turn. This also has the ability for each original Rezael in Soul. So this one, you gain plus 5k attack power. So on first ride, when you ride in this after your first grade 3 turn, it's now 18k attacker, really strong. But then it has it can also use Rezael's Divine skill as its own, but then it has a really good skill that benefits the continuous, right? What it does is when you swing, counterblast 1, call up to 2 units equal to the amount of cards in your drop zone, equal to the amount of damage you have. So just like the original Rezael skill. However, it then has a 2-parter to that. The second part of that skill is then you may add a Rezael into your Soul, a card with Rezael name. You primarily want to use the originals, and when you do, you may choose a card grade 3 or less from your drop to call to rearguard circle. So instead of just 1 card at a time, this is actually allowing you to call up to 3 cards at one time, which is really good. But then it adds one extra additional effect compared to the original Raz, and that is for every card called by his effect, they gain plus 5k. So now not only did we call almost a full re-attack session, we also gained access to giving them plus 5 buff, which is really strong, especially because you're doing this primarily on your Persona Ride turn, which just makes things go better. Now, there's a really good reason this said you can grab 3s. And that is because we play 2 copies of Guabelius. This is actually a really strong card for this set. It has the ability that when this unit is placed on rear guard, you may blast 1, look at the top card of your deck, and then you can choose to either leave it on top or put it to the bottom. If a card is put to the bottom, this unit gets plus 5k. Really, really strong, really love. Next, it has the other ability of when this unit attacks, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, until the end of that battle, this unit gets plus 5k. If this unit was placed on rear guard by the ability of your Vanguard with Faded 1 in its card name this turn, and no drive checks were performed, this has the ability to counterblast 1, give itself 10k, and drive -1. Instead of gaining the 5k to perform a drive check. So this is your 4th to 5th attack of the turn, on top of a 3rd to 4th drive check, depending on if you've divine skilled or not. So it's really good and really pressuring. Really pressuring. You kind of want to use this as either your last attack of the cycle or your second to last attack of the cycle, depending on how things are playing out with your trigger vision. On to the grade 2s. So to start, I play just 2 copies of Biscotti. This deck is already really tight, so you realistically don't have enough space to play anything extravagant or extra. But Biscotti is really strong, and she's your normal energy cycler. When discarded for rides, energy blast or counter blast to draw 1. But what makes her really fun, especially in Rezael, is that she has the on-play ability when you Persona Road, you counter blast or energy blast 3, to look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You can choose to leave 1 on top, but if it's in the battle, you can choose to put it on top or call it. But if it's in battle phase, if it's not battle phase, you may call it to. If it's, you just do the top if it's battle phase. If not, you can call the rear guard instead. But a lot of times what you're doing is you're calling this during your battle step to give your drive checks a lot more oomph, especially when you're about to do a triple drive. This is really good. I still play 2 because of that reason alone. Then we play 4 copies of Nilberis. This is actually one of the, I would call one of the right hands of this deck, because it has the ability of, when this unit is, it has 2 abilities. When placed on rear by the effect of a Rezael card, this card will gain 10k attack power. So when revived, that's 10k, can keep pressing. Really good. But it has the other ability, at the end of the battle this unit attacked, you energy blast 3, put this card into soul, draw 1, and then you look at the top card of the deck, and then you can decide to leave it on top or put on bottom. So once again, we have another card that helps us set up. Now, before Vanguard attack, really good, because you get to just set up if triggers are there or not. If it's not, but then on the inside, you can also set up a trigger or any important cards you would feel you want. Really strong. I still play it at 4. You can lower it down if you want to make space for another card. If you want to switch spacing for this and another card in the deck, I will go into it a little bit. Preferably Sage. If you want to replace this to make room for extra Sage, you can. And that way you can still keep other cards in this deck going. Alright, next we play 1/3 of the Keter pile. We play 4 T-Fault. It has the ability on play from hand, if played by hand, only through without being used by the effect of a unit. This can Soul Blast 1 to search the top 5 to call a rear guard that's equal or lesser grade than your Vanguard. Pretty much meaning, as long as you've played in order, or you just play this after you've played in order, you get to get an additional card. So it's technically a +1 for playing this. Then it has the ability, when attacking an opponent's grade 3, it gains an additional 10k. So on a Persona turn, that's a 30k on its own. Normally a 20 when you're attacking into your Vanguard's grade 3s. So really good, really strong. This will actually always be in the deck until Keter Pile is no longer usable. but I doubt that's going to go anytime soon because it's too good in a lot of archetypes. This just maximizes its effectiveness. Then we play 4 copies of Wisdom because this is the second part of the 3-part Keter pile. It's an order that has the ability of counterblasting 1, draw 2 cards, and then call 2 cards from your hand to rearguard circle. Really good because if you call T-Faults off of this just generates more into more craziness, and it just keeps spiking. As well as one of the other pieces of Keter pile kind of needs you to play orders as a alternative to allowing its ability to go off. And then last of the grade 2s, I play one more order in the grade 2 set slot, and that's the Twin Cast. For those of you who know, this is actually one of the best cards defensively we have in the game because it counts itself for a 10. It gives your Vanguard plus 10k to the end of battle, but then has the drop zone ability of it can be activated from there and guard and giving your Vanguard plus 5 for each level, each grade. So on its first activation, it gives a plus 10 shield. After that, it can be up to 20k shield depending on the grade of your Vanguard. And if you were playing this in Grafalga, so in Dragon Tree, you're kind of in trouble because that can turn this into a 1-card guard for everything. Now, on to the grade 1s. The grade 1s are actually really simple. So, we play 4 copies of Saragown, the last leg of the Keter pile. This card is really good. I had expected it to get hit on the ban list. It did not. But it's possible because there's not enough. We get ready to have other sets in, and other sets are being problematic. This deck probably overstays its welcome. Then it may get hit. But as of right now, it is not that problematic. But it has the ability, when this unit boosts, if you have more rearguards than your opponent or an order cards we play this turn, this unit gains plus 5. And then at the end of the battle, this unit boosted, you can retire it to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 to hand, and put the other to bottom. So early game, really good because you're primarily going to have more rearguards than your opponent. And if you don't, they have to discard an additional, give up a card in guarding to just make sure you couldn't do anything to them. So really strong. And then next to the grade 1s, we play 2 copies of Aerial Sage. It is a 13k booster as long as you have a grade 3 Rezael name. However, if you decide to use the skill, which is discard a card from hand to countercharge a card, if you have Rezael, you gain additional 2k shield, 2k power. Thus meaning you're now boosting for 15k with this card on your Rezael, making the Rezael swings a 28. This is also the countercharger of the deck, so you want to see it as soon as possible. This is where I was referring to if you want to switch ratios on a card. Your Nibiris can be replaced for the 3rd copy of this instead of running 4 of these. I like the 4 of to 2 of ratio, but a lot of people are switching to 3 Nibiris to do this because Nibiris is so recyclable for the deck. I may actually switch that over back to 3, but as of right now, 2 is perfectly fine. Next up, last but not least, is pretty much our defensive package in the grade 1. So 3 PGs, 1 Sanctitude. You know how that goes, guys. We always play these. Once again, because of how things are going, this is still the better one because you do have Liel having triple drive, and there are still some strike decks, especially now. But with the release being that this is the release weekend of the new Stride deck sets for Harry and Night Rose, this may get switched over. This may also get switched over and replaced with the more up-to-date one because Stride decks are slowly coming back. All right, on to triggers. Really simple. I play 8 vanilla crit. Right now, I do not have my hands on the effect crit. If I did, I would replace one of my sets of crits for the effect crit just to make sure I have access to another card to put in a soul if things go bad. Next up, 3 effect fronts. Always enjoy having that additional +5 shield. And then we play 4 heals, just the vanilla heal. There's no point in playing effect heals for this deck at all. And then last but not least, for the OT, we play the 1 red OT. Reason being, if you hit this at the right time, your Gilberus is gonna be stupid strong actually, because you have him restand after drive checking, and if the drive check was really good, you can put a lot more pressure, or you can even give this to the rear guard that just got all the buffs in the world because it was superior called through effect, as well as it just helps extend the attack turns, or even creates a better booster slot for something that's already there. That was already there, or not, or just makes another attacker. But that has been the deck, guys. Once again, you guys are amazing. I do thank you for watching my video. If you did enjoy the deck list, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I shall see you guys in the next video. Peace.